What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mike Sims, back for another episode today. Who am I here with?
I'm here with your boy, CX1. What's up, everybody? I'm out here in these streets bringing you the best reviews for cannabis on the streets.
You know what it is, man.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Nah, but everybody, what's good, everybody? Y'all know what it is, and I got something very, very, very special today. You read the title, you've seen everything, man. I am sitting here with what I think is an interview with what could be the biggest plug in Charlotte or North Carolina. You know, first of all, you can introduce yourself, and then let me know how you feel about that statement.
Physically the biggest plug, for sure. Now, it's your boy, Mike Sims, for sure. Charlotte native here, born and raised. We were the second dispensary in the entire state. We were the first one in Charlotte. We used to be Charlotte CBD. We rebranded as Crown Town Cannabis, also known as Foes Incorporated. Now we're a conglomerate, an umbrella of many other retail brands and individual brands. Cannabis is my first love, my life, my passion. Very involved in the industry. I am on several advocacy boards for, advocacy to keep this thing legal or to bring further legalization to it.
Yeah, we definitely gonna be getting into all of that too.
Yeah, man, just all things cannabis, man, but it's exhausting. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's advocacy fatigue is a real thing, and there's so many different efforts right now and so much to do. It's overwhelming, for sure.
I can definitely believe that. I mean, since the last time we met, you know, the hemp ban that's came through like they're trying to push, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot since the last time we sat down. Yeah. So I think, truthfully,
it's ruined my life ever since.
Well, I hope, and I think, you know, it all work out. You know what they say, Chad. It all work out.
Well, you know, this thing started before any laws was positive. So,
I mean, that kind of goes into the first
cannabis
question.
ain't going nowhere. So y'all do what y'all got to do.
Y'all know.
But
y'all
we got
know
a lot of mouths that depend on this thing to be legal.
That smoke gonna be here. Y'all know how it be. But I guess that kind of plays into the first question I have for you, and it's kind of really, what is the biggest difference in the industry now and when you first started smoking or getting into the industry, whichever one you feel like is more like relevant, like.
Oh yeah, I mean the industry now, right? We can say the positives, we can say negatives. Like everything else in life, it's all growth, right? So in so many ways, we're in a much better place than we were when we started this thing. But there was a certain bit of misunderstanding that played to our favor, and then a certain bit of misunderstanding that didn't play to our favor. So we're more united than ever. There's more stores than ever. It's a bigger industry than ever. But as a business owner, it's a struggle. The market shares are becoming, more and more as more stores open. Matter of fact, on the very road we opened our first store, we were the very first one. And the last time I counted, I think we're over 37 stores on Central Avenue alone.
Oh, yeah.
And then I literally saw a coming soon sign in another one yesterday.
Yeah.
So
I think every store we hit last week in the last episode y'all seen was on Central Avenue. Like, not even going. I'm very sure it was on Central Avenue.
It's saturated. It is a double-edged sword, right? I love to see the growth. I love to see the common person such as myself have the ability and the opportunity for the true American dream. But and I don't mind all the folks being in the business. But listen, this wasn't free. We paid the price from day one as a company. At one point, we were paying $19,000 a month for a lobbyist group that we later found out was also representing law enforcement. So
nice.
Around that time, we decided to be our own lobbyist force, and we've created and been part of many groups since then. But what kills me, I'll be in D.C. next week, and we can get to your next question, but I'm going up there, and I was there a couple weeks ago, and we had like a national call for everybody to come up. And I understand people got lives, people got jobs, but about 100, 115 people showed up, which is incredible. But when they banned or tried to ban a certain type of shrimping in North Carolina, I was up in Raleigh when that happened. We call it Shrimp Gate. I never knew there was so many shrimpers in the world, man. They literally took over the capital of Raleigh.
They ain't playing about that.
And they had 18-wheelers riding around the Capitol with banners on the side, and everybody had T-shirts made. It was unity like you wouldn't believe, and it literally changed everything that day. But when we go up for these hemp things, man, it's usually like the same 15, 20, 30 people that keep showing up and advocating for this. So it's great to see the growth, but y'all get involved. Like, we need your help.
Be out there.
Everything.
Yeah.
Phone calls to your representatives, money donated, even if it's $1 a month, like, it helps. So you know, that's it. But yeah, the game is changing all kind of ways, and when anything subculture comes to the culture, like to mainstream society, I should say, it gets bastardized.
Yeah.
The vibe is lost. The meaning behind
the heart,
it
the
is
soul.
lost. Right.
Yeah.
It gets sterilized.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the fun of buying back in the day was, you know, what you was getting. So sometimes you were pleasantly surprised, sometimes you weren't. But, you know, ultimately,
that's so real,
I feel
though.
like in a lot of ways it's more unsafe now than it was then, just because it has become such a market without regulation. And if you're not doing it the right way with really tracking from seed to sale, this stuff coming from everywhere. Spray packs, booth,
get very dangerous.
Overseas packs, and you know, when you have facilities, especially overseas and things like that, and they're pushing fat out one side and cannabis out the other, they're cross contamination,
cleaning the kitchen.
And a lot of that's propaganda and fear mongering, but it's a real
conversation. When the hemp ban proposal came across, I dropped a video, and one of my biggest parts of my video was my fear of sending all these people into the streets that have never bought weed from anywhere but online.
Right.
So you're sending this dude to somebody who may be a good person, maybe not be a good person. Who knows what all they're selling? Like you said, cross-contamination. And that's my biggest fear, because we're in an epidemic of fentanyl right now, like a complete epidemic.
We didn't have that in the 90s when
we didn't.
80s.
I mean, you had it in the 2010s, but like what it was in 2018 is not what it is now. Like it's just it's crazy. And then I kind of guess that goes into my next question of playing off of from when you first started smoking to now, like, what is the biggest differences? I mean, I know the legality, obviously, you got like that, but like, what is just maybe about the plant or the culture?
So it's the same thing with both, right? So again, it's becoming mainstream. But you know, someone said this to me one time, one of my old business partners, and I feel in a lot of ways that cannabis is one of the few things that as a culture, it's kind of an American culture thing, right? I know it exists in other countries. I'm good right now. I know it exists in other countries.
Yeah.
But not to the extent I think that the culture was built around it. And so many multicultural parts of America still kind of created this culture together because you had the hippies, you had the jazz musicians, you had, you know, all these different groups of people that ultimately united
brought together by that one plant.
Yeah, but as far as the actual cannabis, like I compare it to, you know, a lot of people. Some people love tomatoes. Some people hate tomatoes. There's a difference in tomatoes, just like cannabis, right?
Yeah.
Just like blueberries or whatever, right? Some of them are super sweet. Some of them have a distinct taste or whatever, and that usually comes from the heirloom seed.
Yeah.
What it's originally was, from. And through GMO and cross botanicals and all this other stuff, they bastardize it, and they take the love out of it, and they want to produce and it's get as much out as you can.
Yeah.
And that's why I think still small batch reigns supreme. There's something about once you go large scale, no matter how well you do it,
you can't take control of it as like purely. It's like almost like somebody who has 1 or 2 kids versus somebody who has 28 kids. Like I know you love every kid, but it's hard to take
even
care
inside
of
a perfectly regulated and temperature controlled, moisture controlled building, plants in different parts of that room are going to get different love. And at the end of the day, we've all indoor. We're all about indoor these days, right? But I still, there's something about that sun.
You saying something about that?
Something that, like a hoop house or a greenhouse, that sun grown, that sun gives it. Now, LEDs and all the different lights they've come up with over the years are great, but there's still something about that sun that just makes all the cannabinoids jump, and the terps work together and everything. But you know, I think in a lot of ways we got to get back to the heirloom seeds, and that's kind of the trend right now. Is everybody's really like the OG, the original OGs are making a comeback. The original Durban Poison, the original Jack Harrow. Those
you just
things,
went it. You literally just walked right into my next question.
Okay.
That's so funny because I was about to. Hey, you feel me? We
CX1,
locked in. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all.
Yeah.
But that's so funny because
new albums.
Hey, you feel me? You cooking it. But it was. Is there any strains from like back in the day that you never see anymore that you wish would make a comeback, or is there like an all-time favorite strain, like anything like that? Like,
and here's the real truth. Let's talk about.
Let me know.
But this happens to you so many times. You might buy something and the name, the look, the packaging influences you. And this may or may not happen in the industry, but sometimes people come in like, I didn't really like that. Can I give it back to you? You know, the plug. Oh, sure, you can give it back to me. Literally take it, put it in a different bag, write a different name on it, hand it to you, and they tell you it's fire. It's the best they ever had. But listen, there's some strains that are distinctive that you can't fake. And like a Zittles, like an OG, original OG, and then Sour Diesel, you can't, and a Jack Hera. You know what I mean? So everybody has crossbred and everything to the point out here that I think everything's a hybrid, and the true lineage and the true heirloom structure of these plants has been bastardized so much that it's all kind of just become meh. And I, back in the day, purple flower usually did nothing for, like, purple flower back in the day, they would throw it out. It's like, everybody was stuck because it looks pretty, but the purple really don't do much for you.
I've always been.
I believe there's a bit of placebo effect to it, but there is something about that natural, sun-grown, organic flower. Because I used to buy for high THC content, and then I started realizing the terpene profile and the cannabinoid profile way more important, way greater of effect. And the botanists and everybody were so stuck on having high THCA or THC levels in flower that we forgot where we came from, and we forgot the entourage effect that gives us the best high. And I've learned that the higher percentages of THCA or THC in the flower, not necessarily the better high. So I've seen that kind of, I've seen that kind of work its way, and everything goes in circles, right? So I see concentrates are coming back coming on to the East Coast. I think it was a West Coast thing forever. Concentrates are really fancy, and people are learning. But it's I compare it to alcohol, right? When most people start drinking when they're younger. You take whoever's got Boone's Farm, Mad Dog 44, a beer, whatever. And if you continue your drinking career, you realize there's a difference between that and like a single malt barrel, 12-year-old, whatever.
That fine tequila.
Right. And I'm not a drinker anymore, but I compare that to cannabis. You come in, Bobby Brown, the swag, whatever you can get your hands on. And then over the years and over consumption, you realize what works for you, what's better, what the quality is about. But man, since I've started smoking and all this, it's been a beautiful thing to see. It's kind of like a coming out the closet party for me, because I had to live two different lives my whole life, especially being in corporate and things like that. So that part's been nice, but I feel like we're coming back around though, man, where these prohibitionists and these people trying to kill the industry is all for profit. But whenever you make something scarce, so you feel like it will drive right back to the black market, to your point, makes it more dangerous. I've been robbed several times on the black market. I'm not too proud to say that. You know what I mean?
Real though.
Luckily, I did not lose my life and the people I was with, but it's real, and it's an empty feeling. And you're sitting there, you're like, I either retaliate with more violence or I take this L. But you can't call the cops. You know what I mean? So, and just the time, man. If I told you how many hours of my life I spent in a parking lot waiting on somebody that's on their way, you know what I mean? Like, and I might or may not have been that guy over time.
I was about to say the flip of, yeah, I'm on the way.
right. I'm on the way. I've done it too. I'm like, yeah, I'm on the way. Roll over.
Yeah.
But man, it's natural convenient, and I think anytime you make something provocative, it makes it that much alluring, right? So they talk about adolescent use and everything else. I think, especially like around my children, they've been around it their whole lives. It's boring to them. They want nothing to do with it. But if you keep it from them and make it this thing, I think the allure of wanting it, and I think data and statistically is proven in legalized states that adolescent use is down because they have access to it. They don't want it.
It's not something. It's like that thing of going against your parents just because like it's what kids do or something like that. But like, I guess backing off of that, what do you think the government's what do you think their goal, their main goal? Because I know my thought when I made my video is just like, I personally think it's the prison systems, like getting people back locked up. You make so much money from private prisons and selling everything in the prisons. But like, what do you think what's the end goal?
Every end goal's money, no matter what, right? And you got to think. Same thing we're talking about in this cannabis business. Like the barrier of entry to get into the hemp side of this is small, so there's so many companies. That kills profits. When you're talking about mega billion and trillion dollar companies, you want to produce something that not everybody can produce, right?
Yeah.
And make it hard and complicated and have certain licenses that nobody has, so you can monopolize.
They can't have or get like
right. And if you want like the PC or whatever version versus what's really going on, it's simple. They want us sick. They want us divided. They want us dependent on them. And I say they, I mean the government, the elitists, the powers to be. And we know we got million years to prove this isn't the danger. We say that 0 people have died directly from cannabis overdose, like 0. And if you find somebody out there, let me know, because I've searched really hard. AI can't help me either. Right, yeah. But it's never been. They claim it's about safety. It's never been about safety. And their role is also the free thinking part, right? It's easy to control masses when they're drunk because they're down, they're destroyed, they're depressed. They're isolated. Cannabis causes free thinking. It causes thinking outside the box. And why is this government controlling this and all this? And I think that's a big threat. But the ultimate part of the government is, it's simple. We need term limits. We got people that's been there and we got 80-plus-year-old people. You got to understand what the prohibition looked like, and these prohibition the propaganda we're fighting from it is everlasting. Even people in the industry still kind of regurgitate it. So, but I do think the government's goal is to, with the possibility of rescheduling signals right, I think they're trying to put it under pharmaceutical control, where only big pharma can say what we can have and what we can't have, and they'll GMO the hell out of it, and they'll synthesize as much as they can of it. They've already tried with Epidiolex and Marinol, but treatments are big money. And someone said the other day, Maersk or whatever, that big pharma company, 135 years old, never cured a zero thing. And there's always treatment and there's always money in the treatment, but no money in the cure. And cannabis is the cure for a lot of things, and it replaces a lot of medications. And we're fighting the alcohol industry, we're fighting tobacco industry, we're fighting pharmaceutical industry, and we're fighting the politicians that line their pockets from these companies. So they want exactly what they're doing. They want us divided, they want us sick, they don't want us thinking, they want us to fall in line. And alternative medicine is a danger to them because it affords their profits. Profits get paid to politicians. That's how politicians get elected. And that's how it works. There's no Republican, there's no Democrat. You pay your lobbyists to pay these politicians and pay themselves very well.
Very well.
And that's how laws get done. And anytime I've noticed, even on the state level or federal level, they'll almost just kind of like Trump's administration's thing. They'll go in and threaten the industry. And it immediately causes an influx of donations from people wanting it that way and fighting it being that way, right? So everybody wins but us. So that's how it works. And
game of chess.
Insert subject wherever you want to, it works the same exact way. We're a corporation-run country.
That is.
And you can't go out back and grow a Percocet plant or a Xanax bush. Right?
You ain't getting that.
So that's what the government wants.
Perky's falling off the bush.
Right.
But I guess in a similar market, but to pivot a little bit, because I know, shout out to the Discord, this came from y'all. They had some questions that they wanted me to ask. And one of the main ones I kept getting asked was, what is it like the online side of a cannabis store, online store versus one location or multiple locations, and what's profits like on both, and what's easier?
None of them's easy. Hemping ain't easy. But there's definitely, if done right, it's more profitable for online sales. However, it never fails, no matter how many fail safes you put in place, you get that one underage child that grabs mom and dad's credit card and puts that charge, and they go looking, and what's this charge? And you get chargebacks sometimes. You get stolen credit cards where people will buy large amounts off your website because it's easy to resell in the streets, right? So it's a way to wash credit card to get cash. So we fight those challenges, but if it works correctly and you don't have that, online has the greatest profit margins. Buying online or in the store is great as long as you know who the retailer is, and there are many great retailers out there. We're the best, but there's other great retailers. But it's the same thing. Like, if you go in and you ask them about any product in that store, and they can't at least give you a good idea of what it is, where it come from. And even for us, we're going through a process right now, but they should be able to produce a certificate of analysis, right?
Absolutely.
And we're trying to get more transparent with that. We have everything constantly tested. We're just not uploading the test results fast enough, or we have them in folders and things. So we're working on that. But, I think this is an industry heavy on brick and mortar stores because it's sometimes a spur of the moment. I just got the paycheck, or I just got a nice tip working bartending tonight. Right, and let me run by the store real quick, grab something so I can chill tonight.
And people definitely not trying to wait like a week for the pack. So, like, they definitely not.
And you got a lot of entry level people that's coming in. What is this? What does this do? What does this mean? And you need that interaction, right? Mm-hmm. But I think, like everything, we're in Amazon world. I think the industry is eventually headed there, where you got fast overnight prime deliveries, flour, things like that. And as we build our brands to be nationally recognized and trusted brands, or when Big Pharma gets into it and whatever, I think people won't be as likely to need to go to a store and have that interaction. But I still will say it to the day I die, and we'll check this years from now, but that small batch, small hands-on, hand-trimmed grow, I think will survive the test of time. Because all the Amazon and all that's cool, but it's kind of like farmer's market, right? You go to a farmer's market, and with the local farmer group, it's got way more love, way more care, a lot less chemicals and pesticides in it than something you're going to buy a commercial or store-bought.
Every
because,
time.
It is the larger the scale, the longer that flour is going to sit. And even though I love pre-rolls and things like that, I still love, like you do, grinding it fresh right there. I compare it to cheese. Sprinkle cheese in the bag's cool, but until you had that cheese right off the block, it's a difference. It's about taste.
Chat, y'all know me. I only cook with the block cheese, man. I only cook with the black cheese.
And to find out that they have the pre-shredded stuff basically got wood in it.
The wax and all that stuff.
All that. I'm like, man,
don't melt right. I'm trying to say.
But it's the same thing with flour, man. And a lot can be hidden and ground up flour. And a lot of times people put their worst products in there. I've seen people put seeds and stems and everything else and grind it up and put it in there. So I'm a purist, man. I like grinding it right then and there and rolling it, and same deal. But I think that will survive the test of time, and I hope that will be enough sustainable for the small shops and specialty shops, and buy local, grow local. We have some national brands and stuff, but something about that local stuff, man. I mean, yesterday I had a cup of coffee. I went to Dunn, North Carolina, and he had some coffee that was literally like grown or somehow in North Carolina. I didn't even know they could grow coffee in North Carolina. Roasted 2 days ago, and then he made me a coffee. I said, I'm not even a coffee dude.
Say it
off
different.
The charts. Off the charts, but I ended up having 2. And by last night, I was still trying to go to sleep at like 12:30. But man, freshness and that's the same problem we got in our food supply, man. It's when you drive by the bottom dollar and greed and profit, so many corners are cut, and nothing is completely the same thing in cannabis. Even tested in legalized states where molds and mildews and all that's tested for, which we do, to make sure it's in compliance, they hit it with gamma rays to kill the mold and mildew. So you're literally radiating your cannabis before you smoke it. And that's what, unfortunately, large scale food or drugs or cannabis, you have to go through these processes, unnatural processes to keep it fresh and keep it safe, other than just buying it from a farm up the road and put it in a bag and sell it on the shelf. So
did you have like a certain small batch from last year or even the beginning of this year that you were just like, oh shit, like?
I'm lucky enough and fortunate enough in life. I've got a few of those, and we got some local farmers we work with. Shout out to the homie Dogtoe. He's been on the show before. He's actually bowing out of the industry. He's in South Carolina. And straight up, and this man will tell you, anybody in the room tried it, I would put his outdoor up against any indoor.
Oh,
And
that's fire.
truly. And but
That's
unfortunately, because the industry's been so rough on him and life's been so rough on him, he is stepping out of the industry.
That's
but
respectable.
there's some amazing ones, and every time I don't think my mind can be blown, it has. And we're actually going to have coming up on the show, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, a geneticist that is really deep diving into keeping those heirloom seeds and things intact. You may or may not know this. There is a seed vault here in the United States that has seeds of every fruit and vegetable or whatever. Yeah. And that's the kind of, that the whole thing is the original lineage. Yeah, the buds might produce tighter and more trichomes or whatever, but there's something about that OG, ugly looking. There's even a company now that sells like ugly fruit. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like fruit just looks ugly. It's perfectly good. But I like the ugly stuff, man. That's nature intended it. And usually the rounder, the tighter or whatever, you almost guarantee there's more salts and things like that produced it that way. And whatever they got in that flower, you're going to put in you.
I guess my last question then would be, we just went out to Cali last October, and one of the strains we had out there was from the company Alien Labs. It was BK Satellite.
Okay.
And it was a mix between Legend of Nigeria and Milky Way. It's my favorite strain I've ever smoked.
Right.
And that was, what do they call them? Like, where a strain is from a certain place. Oh, I'm blanking on the name now. Landrace.
Right, Landrace.
Landrace. Do you think, I guess the simplest way is, do you think Landraces really still exist? And if they do, what are they like compared to what they were?
I think they do exist because there are some seed hoarders and people that bank seeds out there, but it's rare, right? And a lot of them started off just wild grown, like even parts of India and things like that. And I can tell you, any cannabis plant, no matter what it does, no matter what the genetics says it does, in different environments, it's going to do different things, right?
Yeah.
When the barometric pressure is different, the elevation is different, the temperatures even outside, even if it's perfect temperature inside, humidity, everything, the temperature outside still affects it, right? Yeah. So the actual seeds and the genetics, yes, it does exist, but to make them true to those genetics, they need to be grown where they're originally found, right? And, you can try to recreate those environments as much as you can, but just certain times you can't. It's like, biscuits. Like, biscuits are the same thing. Certain areas, you take them, cook them, they cook differently. Same thing with cannabis. So it's important to have those. And I think if we continue to crossbreed and everything without having that foundation to come back to, I don't think we're going to like where it's going to go, and I think it's going to lose its medicinal properties. Just similar as GMO foods and fruits do not have the same kind of nutritional value, right? But I think it's imperative to keep that alive, and it's like everything, man. I'm watching young cats like yourself now walking around in stuff that I wore in the 90s, and y'all calling it vintage.
You feel me?
You know what I mean? So it's like vintage 90s.
Yeah. Straight throwback.
Yeah, man, but I get it. But it's the same thing with cannabis. It hits different, and I mean, I've smoked swag back in the day that's better than some of the most beautiful buds I've seen. So looks can be deceiving, especially now with spray terps and everything else. But yeah, the landrace heirloom strains are detriment to keeping this thing alive. And I think over time, especially, they're getting into DNA fogging and DNA tracking and things like that, even in cannabis, we'll be able to truly tell its lineage. Yeah. People like some people that rename strains won't be able to get away with that forever because
nope, that's lemon cherry gelato.
Right, right. The genetic, the true testing and genetics of the cannabis plants will be distinctive, like a DNA. And a lot of the technology they got already, they just fog the plant ultimately, and then that can ultimately track it from seed to cell without having to have the physical tags. So, we're going into a world of AI. I'm curious to see how that collides with something ancillary like a cannabis industry. But, I think we're all going to get smarter in so many ways and have full understanding of what we're putting in our bodies or what's in the products we put in our bodies.
That'll be very important.
So, but the landrace things are very important, man, because you got to always remember your roots.
Well, I mean, I literally I know I said that was the last one. I just triggered one more quick one.
Man. We got time.
What do you think about the? Because I did a video on this recently about how over the years the raise, like we talked about in THC percentage, and the drop in almost like exit of CBD,
right,
especially in flowers. I mean, it concentrates. It's not even like.
Right.
What do you think? How does that affect? Because the health purposes or the medicinal purposes that do come from the plant from CBD, if we keep on dropping that to raise THC, we're defeating the purpose in a sense. Like so,
essentially, yeah. And again, like we touched on earlier, it's like THC content's great, but without the entourage of the other products or the other cannabinoids, it's not as great. And it's about bioavailability, right? It's about the CB1 and CB2 receptors in our body and how it recognizes the things that it needs to uptake or absorb.
Yeah.
And for sure, like, and I learned this even back when we first started this industry or whatever. We were getting the THCA isolate 99% or whatever, and I would hit it on the dab rig or whatever, and I'm like, man, this ain't it, but it get you high, but it's not that entourage effect.
Yeah.
And
just
people
high,
really
like.
and people really underestimate the effects of your CBGs, your CBN, your CBDs.
Yes.
CBN, a lot of people don't realize they've probably done a lot of CBN in their life. Things like this where you smoke a blunt or a joint, you hit it and you let it go out. Well, this cannabis below here has already been decarboxylized or heated.
Yeah.
So the THCA has been activated. So when you go back and light it again, it heats again. This part actually becomes CBN because as you continue to decarboxylate Delta 9 THC, it turns to sleepy. You ever hit that roach a few times?
Oh God, your ass going.
So
boy, that just made like that just answered the question of life. Like, damn, that roach, that little clip that you got, that bit be smacking.
People, especially like Snoop, a lot of people Snoop. I think Wiz even does it sometimes. They're professional rollers for him. They'll decarb before they roll it. So, but man, as many cannabinoids and then many terpenes as possible, and true terpenes, not botanical terpenes that were sprayed on, terpenes that were produced. And there's nothing like a soil grow. You can go hydro, you can go flood.
I just had living soil for the first time, for real. Man,
it makes a difference.
It does. Like
you don't know the difference till you tried the difference.
Genuinely, I was like, that's it. That is exactly what I was.
But
like.
I call myself a utility smoker. I appreciate those things, but I'm a smoker. I'm a cannabis user, so. If it was still around, I'd still smoke the swag. I prefer outdoor over indoor a lot of times, but I will smoke it all, man. And they all do different things, and I've smoked long enough that I could tell, like, damn, this one really hits.
Yeah.
The other day, we were talking about strains recently or whatever. We have one that was called Purple Cadillac. It was a tapestry strain, and it was one of them, like, mouth-breathing strains because I took a joint to the face and was kind of sitting there realizing I just kind of was looking off into space, mouth breathing, and it was great. I love being in that zone. Like I was all in here, but I do like that. And the ones that comes with the body high, I think everybody's so focused on that heady high, the THCV, the different sativas and things like that is great, but I love that feeling of that body high and your body. It feels like it's supposed to be there, almost like your legs a little floaty, jello. Feel a little heavier than you normally feel.
You know what I'm saying?
But but it's all about the ceremony of it, and you got to have it all. And anything isolated in mass amounts of numbers usually not good for you, right? And even these things that they're extracting from the cannabis plant. We don't know the true effects on some of these things that are found in minute portions in a cannabis plant are either converted or extracted in bigger numbers and reinserted. And we really haven't had that
ever.
Right. So that's when I start getting concerns of like long-term effects or triggering things or psychosis or things like that.
Literally, that's been the topic of my last few like law videos, as you'll call it, because it's like, all right, people that do dabs every single day, and that's all you do. I know a lot of people like that.
Me
and
too.
I feel like there's a certain, like it's almost like a, whoa, wait a minute, like what happened, bro?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, I'm not trying to put nothing on nobody,
Right.
but it's like I feel like I'm noticing a pattern, and that's something that I've definitely took a notice, and it's like, okay, like,
and that's what, and even that people are getting away from solvent concentrates, or going solventless, heated press, hash washes, things like that, you know. But everything in moderation, man. One thing I didn't like about doing dabs all the time is it killed my tolerance. So I was like, you know, like, damn. But it also has its time and place, and you know, some nice and
took a dab last night.
and I've learned too, even how to do those properly and not overheat, and just, you know, you don't have to take a blast to cloud. You can sip it.
You can chill, like,
yeah. So, you know, this plant is humbling. I learn something new about it every day. I learn something about myself using this plant every day. And I will tell you, it does turn on people. I've get several calls a year. People all of a sudden, man, like, I don't know what it is. I got a panic attack, and now I can't smoke without going back there. You know, and I think it becomes that fight or flight. Age, and you know, and it never fails. It's always somebody that, like, goes outside of their normal plug to get it, and they go to another place and it triggers something. I'm like, you probably had some pesticide, herbicide, something else in that cannabis that triggered it. Yeah. And, you know, and I'm fascinated. I want to learn more. And if there's anybody out there that has more subjects about this, I have witnessed that sometimes it can cause or trigger, like, genetic psychosis or what's it called, paranoia, things like that. So I always wondered if the paranoia would exist if you didn't worry about the laws, right?
Yeah, I mean, they say that about police. If drugs, I know this has always been a theory, if drugs were legal, police interactions would go down by such a percent because people wouldn't be worried about getting arrested.
Does the paranoia come from that interaction, or does it come from the plant? That's what I wonder. My daughter asked an incredible question yesterday. She said people that wear glasses when they dream, do they see it clearly or is it blurry? Right. And I'm like, damn, did you get in Daddy's stash? Anyway, but I was like, damn, that's a good one.
That is a great question. I'm not going to lie. So, hey, that's a great question.
Shout out to Bodie Ocean.
Hey, shout out.
But anywho, man, we got to protect this plant. That's what it's about. And on a political level, on a social level, let's keep it cool. Let's keep it for what it was. Let's not bastardize this thing. Of course, there's profit is made and everything else, but we can't forget the culture and what supported and started it. And
absolutely,
I can tell you, going to DC, it's the people I tell you that showing up to represent, love them, love all of them. And unfortunately, we have to put that kind of facade, that face up. It's corporate.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of white dudes in suits, man. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of politicians want to see. The people, the true roots, the heart behind this industry don't present well. That's the people that look alternative, that dress differently, that
that's
talk
the politics,
right? And
like,
we have to, for lack of better terms, we have to whitewash it almost to make it palatable,
to kick it down
for these.
It's like, and it is so crazy that is the world that we do live in. It's especially because it's like this is something that brings us all together.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what they don't want.
Exactly.
I didn't conquer. Where are we at on time, sir? We good? We good. Yep. But yeah, man. Got any more questions for CX1?
CX1, I ain't gonna lie. I think that was the last one. I appreciate you so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man,
I definitely learned a lot. I know my folks out there learned a lot. You know what I'm saying?
I hope so. It's all about education, man. And I'll jump in real quick, a little bit of advocacy.
I was about to tell you, let them know where to go.
We are running the Protect the Plant campaign as a company. This is a vessel. It is not a organization, right? Because there are so many organizations. I was actually on a call right before this podcast with over 20 different leads of 20 different organizations. And luckily we are all divided, but we all at least have the centralized message the same, right? But what we are doing is Protect the Plant is just a vessel so we can put money in the different organizations as needed, because some are working on the federal level, some are working on the state level, some are working on certain things that need a carve out to pay a politician or to donate to a campaign or whatever. So we wanted to remain versatile. And listen, a lot of times some of these organizations will go rogue. Like shout out to U.S. Hemp Roundtable. I'm glad you changed your mind and we helped you with that. But they started off the conversation with like a milligram cap, right? And that's something you offer once you've been beat up in the end and you got nothing else to offer. So we finally got them with an alignment of, you know, we don't want to kill the industry at all. We want sensible regulation. So we want to be able to support different organizations as they need support, and then be able to pull that support back if we feel like they're not doing what's best in alignment for our industry.
Yeah.
So the Protect the Plant is just a vessel to collect money, and then it's donated to different organizations. We'll have 100% transparency about what is donated versus what is paid out. It'll go dollar for dollar. We don't make any money on this, only to advocacy. And we support groups like American Agriculture First, American Healthy Alternatives Association, CBHD, which is Cultivating Business, something. I can't remember all these damn acronyms. HIFA, there's several organizations that are really leading with donations and political influence. We're already, the CBDHD group we're part of, our goal was to basically start an attack campaign or helping a representative. We were hoping to do one this year. We've already cleared 3. So our session opens up in April here. We got midterms coming up this year. Vote and get involved. Educate yourself on who you're voting on. I'm not going to tell you who vote on, but I will tell you this. The Republican Party, historically and so much still, is against our industry. So there are exceptions, like Mr. Rand Paul, and even, believe it or not, Ted Cruz, and some closed doors, Tom Tillis. So there are some hardline conservative GOP leaders that are making the switch, and they're seeing the benefits, they're seeing the money, and so we are changing the tides, but we need more money. We'll put some links in the comments here of different organizations that you can get involved with Protect the Plant, and on Protect the Plant, it will highlight the different organizations and what they do and why we support them. Mm-hmm. Voice and numbers. Sign up. I don't give a damn if you don't give $1 or nothing. Sign up with us so you can get the newsletter. So when we do calls of actions, we can show numbers. And if anything a politician cares about more than money, it's votes. And as constituents, if they get enough people supporting or pushing something away, they will go along with the constituents, because without them, they don't get their job back. Exactly. So they literally use these emails and phone calls sometimes as tallies on how they're going to vote on said subject. So get involved, man. Young people out there, all of you, like, I thought my generation was going to be the one to make this shit better. We've made it worse. We fucked up. It's up to the next generation. And I was learning the other day the different generations. I guess my kids are an alpha generation or beta generation. I don't know how all these things work, but
what are we, Z?
Yeah, where's Z? I'm an X. I'm the last year of X, or Gen X. So, but anyway, it's the same story, different generation, right? Yeah. The elite, the powers to be, want us divided. They want us fighting because we can be easily controlled. Mm-hmm. And this plant, and so many people realize we got way more in common than not.
Way more.
And if we sit around and burn one together, we could fix most problems, and that's what they don't want us to do.
And laugh about it.
Yep, and laugh about it. And that's what we're going to do. We have differences. Some stereotypes, a lot of stereotypes are real. Let's be really honest. White people do put raisins in their potato salad, but not me, but some white people. But it's, ultimately today, we got to embrace our differences.
Got to.
We can't help where we were born.
That's what makes us unique.
That's it. We can't help that we were born on one side or the other of this individual, invisible border. Yeah. And I think we're so busy being so far left and so far right, we forgot to be decent.
In the middle, together.
In the middle. And as we're fighting each other, except us. And literally divided we fall. So we got to unify over this plant, and we got to unify together over the human race and realize that we are all brothers and sisters, and without each other we have nothing. And our differences is where the beauty's at.
You already know it. Hey, yes, man. Well, 6-1, I appreciate
you
so much.
Be looking for the mixtape.
Hey, man.
Dropping soon.
Coming soon,
Now, check out my man. Where can they find you on your channels?
CX1 on YouTube, Chandler _Ryan on Instagram, Hey man, I just appreciate all of y'all. So
he's doing some reviews out there. I got to hook him up with some
all.
new product, new flower we got coming through. And the same with y'all.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for checking us out on Let's Be Blunt. Check us out on letsbeblunt.org.
Yes,
Also, check out the links below for Protect the Plant campaign. Get involved, man. Every little bit helps. So we also want to hear from you. If you want to come be on the show, if you got a compelling story to tell about what this plant or this industry has done for you, ops too. I want to hear from y'all.
Hey.
Give us a call. Give us a shout. Email us. Talk to us. As always, peace, love, cannabis. Support my man here. Y'all take care.
Oh, yeah.